the ashes still burn. From the end of an era, a new beginning rises. The X-Men return, not as they once were, but as they must be now. Heroes scarred by loss, yet driven by hope. Get ready for the epic saga X-Men 2024 From the Ashes. Follow every page, every battle, every sacrifice in a cinematic experience on Explosive Nerd HQ. Drop your explosive like, subscribe, hit the bell for all notifications, and share with your fellow nerds. The era of mutants begins again. Now! The low sun of Alaska spreads a crimson glow over the endless snow, painting the horizon with fire and ice. Months later, a world in reconstruction, still scarred by the past, prepares for a new chapter. 20 minutes from Merle, Alaska, a police vehicle cuts through the frozen road. The engine growls steady. The tires bite into the snow, leaving tracks that lead to an imposing fortress. On the gate, the symbol of the X-Men burns in red, a warning and a promise. The vehicle stops. The door opens. Officer Paula Robbins, from the Merle Police Department, steps out, wrapped in the cold that bites the skin. Her breath escapes in vapor. She stares at the facility before her and whispers, "Paula Robbins?" Well, she closes the door with determination, adjusts her uniform, and faces the colossal entrance. The red X symbol reflects in her determined eyes. Then, firm and resolute, she takes the first step and declares, "Paula Robbins, here we go." The snow piles up at the gates of the fortress. A mechanical buzz breaks the silence. Officer Paula Robbins presses the intercom, her voice firm, despite the cold that freezes even her breath. "Beast. Hello? Paula Robbins. This is Officer Paula Robbins, from the Merle Police Department." "Beast. Ah, yes, fantastic. Paula Robbins. I came to speak with Scott Summers. He should be expecting me." "Beast, one moment, please." The gate opens with a heavy metallic sound. Paula steps inside, and a towering figure emerges from the shadows, his blue fur shining under the cold light of the corridor. "Beast. Hello, Officer Robbins. Thank you for coming. Please come in." Startled, Paula takes a step back, but quickly regains her composure. "Paula Robbins. Oh, Beast. No need to remove your boots. We are still working in this area. Dr. Henry McCoy, director of the base." "Paula Robbins. My apologies for my reaction. Dr. McCoy, I am embarrassed." "Beast. Oh, think nothing of it, Officer Robbins. Heteromorphic genetic expressions can be surprising. Even I have grown quite used to them." They walk together through the metallic corridor, their footsteps echoing against the automated doors. "Paula Robbins. Mr. Summers invited me to see what you are building here, now that the city has calmed down after the conflict." "Well, you know, is he here?" "Beast. Ah, well, as the commander of the X-Men, Scott had to leave, leading the team on a mission." Paula scans the structure around her, sensing the weight of the place and the tension that lingers in the air. "Paula Robbins, it seems dangerous." Beast narrows his gaze, a silent warning that what lies ahead will be far more dangerous than Paula could ever imagine. St. Marco. The X-Men jet cuts through the skies like a blade of light, advancing steadily over the restless sea. Its engines roar against the golden horizon of the sun. From the fortress on the cliff, bursts of gunfire echo in sequence, streaking toward the aircraft. A distant voice echoes like a memory, "I guarantee it. But Scott Summers is the most talented combat leader I have ever known. And I was once an Avenger." Inside the jet, Quentin Quire speaks with fury, his voice dripping with contempt. "Quentin Quire, you're a disgrace, Summers." He continues, even more enraged. "Quentin Quire, you're a fool. I should never have joined this damn team with you." Cyclops remains calm, his voice steady, sharpened by experience and leadership. "Cyclops, don't start, Quentin Quire. You've died more times than any other mutant alive. By now, you should be used to it." Meanwhile, Psylocke focuses, her psychic powers flaring into pure energy around her face. Her eyes blaze with intensity. Cyclops gives the command, his voice cutting through the storm. "Cyclops, combat team, prepare to strike. Now!" Inside the X-Men jet, Juggernaut and Magik play rock, paper, scissors, a childish game masking the weight of the mission ahead. Juggernaut. It's not working. Magik. You always choose rock. Juggernaut. Of course I choose rock. I'm not a coward. The problem is, you're not one either. Magik. Do I look like a coward to you, Marco? Juggernaut. Forget it, Magik. At the same time, she takes a deep breath, energy blazing under her feet as the portals ignite with golden light. Magik. Not as good as the first one, but better than the last. Juggernaut. Just teleport us. I'm ready for the fight. At the front of the jet, Cyclops raises his voice, commanding with authority. Cyclops? I said, attack team! The portal bursts open. Magik appears midair, sword lifted high, striking down with fury. Juggernaut storms through like a tank. Bullets ricochet off his helmet. Magik. It's not really a team, if it's just the two of us. Juggernaut. Humph. 2 of us is enough. Back inside the jet, Cyclops gives the next order with military precision. Cyclops. Execute psychic EMP on all targets at my signal. Quentin Quire. Yeah, I'm working on it. Cyclops. You're an Omega-level telepath, Quentin. Act like it. Between the palm trees surrounding the fortress, armed guards patrol with vigilance. But suddenly, their eyes lose focus. Their minds stagger, struck by the psychic force of Quentin Quire. Confusion spreads among them. Their weapons tremble. Cyclops. Now! Inside the jet, Psylocke stands firm. Psylocke. The autopilot of the Executioner is active. The combat window will be short, so move fast. Cyclops answers at once, his voice sharp with command. Cyclops. Understood. Psylocke. Temper, give us cover. Quentin. Activate the telepathic link. Temper steps forward, ice forming in her hand, her breath turning to mist. Temper. Understood. Now it's just a game with the cold. From the belly of the jet, a cascade of frost descends like a storm of eternal winter. Shards of ice erupt against the fortress, freezing ground and enemy soldiers in an instant. The guards cry out in panic, trapped in the merciless cold. And in the midst of this chaos, the X-Men prepare to strike. The fortress shakes with the thunder of war. Juggernaut charges forward like an unstoppable avalanche, smashing through walls and soldiers, tearing everything apart in his path. Atop his rampage, riding like a relentless warrior, is Magik, sword in hand, her eyes blazing with mystic fire. Magik! The anti-air defenses are down. Inside the jet, the leader of the X-Men watches with cold strategy, calculating the perfect moment to strike. Cyclops. Excellent. The hatch of the jet bursts open, like a gateway to war. In a devastating leap, the X-Men plunge from the sky in perfect formation. Cyclops leads at the front, his visor glowing with restrained power. Psylocke dives alongside him, psychic energy shaping into deadly blades in her hands. Quentin Quire hurls himself with fury, the young Omega radiating arrogance and unchained force. Temper descends like a frozen storm, ice swirling around her fists, turning the air into a cutting winter field. The fall is overwhelming. Their arrival strikes like thunder in the enemy's heart. Cyclops. We're going after our people. X-Men. Among corridors of glass and cold mist, vast greenhouses bloom under the Alaskan sky. Rows of crops break through the steel heart of the base. Beast. As you can see, our hydroponic plantations are well on their way. Paula Robbins. Plantations? Beast. Yes, tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, and even potatoes. Beast. The factory gives us plenty of room for our projects. And one of us discovered a true gift for agricultural science. Beast. Ah, there he is. Mr. Herman. Officer Robbins was admiring your work. Glob Herman appears, his body translucent, light revealing bones and a timid wave. Herman. Hello? Paula Robbins hesitates, her breath catches in her throat. Beast, clearing his throat with calm patience. You are doing that again. Paula Robbins. I know, I am sorry. Beast steps forward, his voice firm yet compassionate, echoing through the leaves. Beast, we are all born different, Officer Robbins. We are born mutants. Beast, but no matter our powers or our forms, we are still people. Beast, people who want to live, to grow, to prosper in this world. Beast, not so different from this garden, thriving against the cold of Alaska, through metallic corridors and silent greenhouses. The air carries the weight of memories from a forgotten industry. Paula Robbins looks around, thoughtful, and speaks. Paula Robbins, a greenhouse, HM. Paula Robbins. There is much talk in the city about what the X-Men are doing here, Dr. McCoy. Paula Robbins. You must understand there is resentment. Many people made their living here before the factory closed. Beast walks beside her, his voice calm, steady. Beast. Yes, a feeling we do not dismiss. Paula Robbins continues, her tone firm yet honest. Paula Robbins. It is not that we are ungrateful for what you and your people did for this city. We are. Paula Robbins. But times have been difficult since production stopped. Because the jobs have disappeared. Beast pauses, hesitating, his eyes fixed directly on the officer. Beast. I suppose so. Then, with a cultured yet sharp voice, he adds. Beast. But I must say, Officer Robbins, production is nothing more than a game of words. The silence grows heavy, tension lingers in the steel and shadows of the past. Before them, massive machines rise under the dim light, giants of iron standing lifeless. Beast, his voice breaking, stares at the towering figure. Beast, it was here that your people built sentinels. Explosions rumble on the horizon. Heavy impacts make the walls shake. Wolverine lifts his head, eyes burning with fury. Wolverine, I know that sound. Those are the X-Men. Orcus soldier, on edge, gripping his blade. Orcus soldier, quiet. Wolverine faces the darkness, voice low and deadly. Wolverine, they are coming for me, and you do not want to be in their way. A second guard snaps. Irritated. Orcus soldier, quiet. Shut it. Orcus soldier. There is no way they know you are here. We scanned you for transmitters. And you are not a telepath. Wolverine, ha ha ha. Wolverine pulls at the chains, muscles locked with iron will. Wolverine. I do not need to be a telepath. But Jean Grey, Emma Frost, Quentin Quire, Celeste, Esme, Mindy, Phoebe, and Sophie Cuckoo. Wolverine lets a wild half-smile show. Wolverine. I have been thinking very loud, pal. Wolverine stares the Orcus soldiers down, a razor edge in his eyes. Wolverine. Looks like one of you had your ears wide open. The battlefield trembles. Rubble, dust, and the fury of the X-Men collide against the forces of Orcus. The walls collapse. The city echoes in chaos. In the middle of the clash, Psylocke strikes with her psychic dagger, the blade glowing with mental energy. Psylocke. I dug the data out of his head with my psychic dagger. Take that from my surface thoughts. Dive deeper, and you die here. Quentin Quire lifts his mind, broadcasting information into the psychic network, his voice dripping with sarcasm. Quentin Quire. Installation maps a courtesy of Psylocke, uploading them into the shared knowledge pool. He glances around, noticing the Orcus symbols. Quentin Quire. Hey. Anyone know why these Orcus clowns are using our X? Temper advances with the team, her power burning in her hands, scolding Quentin firmly. Temper. Did you really sleep through the last meeting, Quentin? It's like we're back in the Jean Grey school era. All over again. Quentin Quire fires back with mockery, and his mind explodes in psychic force, hurling a soldier against the wall. Quentin Quire. Look, I used to kick pretty hard, okay? My memory isn't what it used to be. In a dark corridor, Psylocke dashes forward, her presence like a lethal shadow. As she runs, she commands, Psylocke, I'm going after Logan. We'll meet when you find our new mutants. She vanishes into the darkness, leaving one last order. Psylocke and someone, please, do something about Quire. The impact resounds like thunder. Juggernaut bursts into the fray, smashing an Orcus soldier with a brutal punch, blood splattering across the battlefield. His voice booms with wrath. Juggernaut, remnants of Orcus, the fourth school. After the AI betrayed Orcus human parts, the fourth school spread wildly with what was left. Another strike shatters the ground, crushing his foe without mercy. Juggernaut, a twisted mix of Orcus science propaganda and the memes of John Yumen Sublime. The battlefield erupts in chaos. Debris flies, dust rises, and Cyclops unleashes crimson optic blasts like lightning across the ruins. 3 Orcus soldiers are struck, thrown back violently against the walls in a storm of fire and energy. Cyclops, Kane, I want you to know how proud I am of you right now. Magik laughs, sarcastic, sword glowing in her hand, as a towering sentinel steps out from the collapsing walls. Magik, suck up. Juggernaut growls, fists crashing together like thunder, staring at the colossal machine of steel. Juggernaut, punk. The sentinel rises, massive, gears grinding in a roar of metal. Each step shakes the ground, its eyes burning with the fire of destruction. It advances, casting a shadow over the battlefield, as the X-Men steel themselves for the clash. Temper, the 4th school believes that the so-called third species predicted by John Sublime is actually artificial intelligence. So they seek to become the 4th species, a fusion of human intelligence, AI, and mutant. Temper, the good news is they don't hate us anymore. Temper, the bad news is they want to become like us by consuming us. Quentin Quire steps forward, telepathy exploding outward, hurling Orcus soldiers away with invisible force. Quentin Quire. Ha! Quentin Quire. When I kicked the U-men out of the damn Xavier school, you were on my back. Summers. Quentin Quire. Look at us now. I won. Cyclops charges through the fire and smoke, unleashing another optic blast like a spear of burning light. Cyclops. Never let anyone say, I won't meet you halfway, Quentin. The sentinel raises its massive arms, ready to unleash devastation. But Magik's mystical blade is already glowing, poised to strike. The war between the X-Men and Orcus rages to its peak, and every second could be the last. The smoke clears among the ruins. From the wreckage rises the imposing figure of Cyclops, his eyes burning with crimson energy, each step marked by the unshakable resolve of a leader who never falters. Cyclops. And how amusing that I repeat things you already know. 3 days ago, we detected 6 new signals through Cerebro. 6 new mutants, here. The dark corridor echoes under steady footsteps. Cyclops advances, flanked by Quentin Quire and Temper, their silhouettes cutting through the mist like soldiers marching toward the inevitable. Cyclops, Wolverine was in the area, and I asked him to investigate. And then we received his psychic distress call. Ahead of them, Magik is already carving a path with relentless fury. Her mystical blade pierces through the flaming eye of the fallen sentinel, which erupts in sparks and smoke. The metallic colossus from the previous page meets its end beneath her sword. The camera closes in on Cyclops, a confident smile, cold as the optic blast that carries the weight of his team. Cyclops. And now we came to rescue all of them. The room is simple, filled with the smell of fresh coffee. Paula Robbins sighs, pressing her hand to her forehead, the shadow of concern marked in her eyes. Paula Robbins. Look, you are not wrong. She confesses, her voice heavy with bitter memories. Paula Robbins. I did not like that the city's industry was building killer robots, and many people felt the same. But now, I have a city full of people without jobs. People who hoped this factory would reopen someday, which obviously will not happen now. First Orcus automated it, then the Avengers destroyed it, and now, Beast remains silent for a moment, then speaks with firm but gentle words. Beast, I understand, Officer Robbins. The city of Merle and the X-Men are neighbors. You are trying to keep the peace. Milk, sugar? She smiles lightly, her voice softening for an instant. Paula Robbins, both, please, Dr. McCoy. I like it very sweet. Unfortunately, Beast lets out a short, nostalgic laugh. Beast, well, me too. If I had known you were coming, I would have made my famous babka. Paula looks at him, a playful spark in her eyes. Paula Robbins. Then you will have to dine at the city's restaurant someday. They make a cherry pie that will make you lose your mind. She reaches for the cup. Their hands touch for a brief moment, the warmth of the coffee mixing with the tension of something unexpected. Beast freezes for a second, awkward, then dares to ask, Beast, a date? Paula takes the cup for herself, glancing away with a faint smile. They walk side by side down the cold corridor, Beast in front, Paula behind, holding the cup in her hands. Paula Robbins, yes, you grow food and lead rescue missions. But why here? Why Alaska? Because you seem to be a smart man, Dr. McCoy, and this is not the most suitable place in the world to grow food and distribute it. The machinery echoes through the depths of Fortress X, the old factory, now transformed into the stronghold of the mutants. Its engines hum, a reminder that this place, once marked only by war, now beats as a refuge and a symbol of resistance. Beast walks beside Officer Robbins, his deep voice carrying through the vast hall. Beast, an agricultural project is only one of the initiatives we are carrying out. But in summary, Officer Robbins, we are trying to build life in a place that once served only for death. Sentinels built here participated in the massacre at Magik's. He pauses, eyes fixed on the cold immensity of the structure. Beast, we once had an Eden, Officer Robbins, one that was taken from us. And now we must find our place in the world again. Always refugees, forced to live with the destroyed and unwanted places of the earth. Paula grips the hot cup in her hands, her voice trembling, almost a whisper. Paula Robbins, I am so sorry, Doctor. I had never thought of it that way. This factory must be very far from Krakoa. Beast's expression hardens. His eyes burn with restrained pain. Beast, I cannot say. She looks at him, startled. Paula Robbins, what do you mean? He takes a deep breath, his voice heavy with weight and mystery. Beast, I fear it is terribly complicated. Far too complicated for the first moments of what I hope may become a new friendship in any case. Beast continues walking forward, the shadow of the past echoing in his words. Beast, I only say this thanks to my sins. The soldiers of Orcus keep watch, surrounded by the metallic echo of machines and the stench of grotesque experiments. One of them, with an authoritarian tone, commands, Orcus soldier, you, keep your eyes on Wolverine and do not let him escape. Another replies, mocking, trying to hide his fear, Orcus soldier, and where would he even go? I would need a grinder, just to let him scratch his nose. A nervous order cuts through the tension. Orcus soldier, just watch him. But among them, one hesitates. A heavy sigh escapes, his voice low with regret. Orcus soldier, it should not be this way. Suddenly, he feels something, a presence pressing down on the air. He turns, trembling. Orcus soldier, wait, is someone here? A sharp sound breaks the silence. Then, a flash erupts in the darkness. Psylocke's psychic butterfly wings blaze into existence, burning bright, her eyes glowing with lethal fury. The soldier recoils in terror, his voice breaking. Orcus soldier, oh no, the X-Men's hunt continues. The walls shake with the battle, flames, energy, and twisted metal erupt in every direction. Quentin Quire glares at Temper, sarcasm dripping from his voice. Quentin Quire, playing the good soldier? How many times have Cyclops and the X-Men failed you, Idy? Temper steps forward, her eyes burning, voice sharp with conviction. Temper, why do you think I'm here? Quentin, without hesitation, she unleashes a burst of fire, scorching the Sentinel's face, forcing the machine to stumble back in flames. Temper, I will never let the X-Men fail again. Her fury deepens, sharper than the fire itself. Temper, and besides, I didn't see my ex-boyfriend come to my rescue when they threw me into the pit of Krakoa. A Sentinel's blast surges at Quentin. He raises a psychic shield, deflecting the energy with a crackling wall of thought. He mutters, uneasy. Quentin Quire well, Temper fires back, voice ablaze. Temper, no. You were committing war crimes with X-Force. Quentin sighs, eyes narrowing. Quentin Quire, that was complicated. The ground trembles. The impact roars like thunder. Juggernaut storms into view, his massive frame smashing through the chaos. He plants himself between the blast and the younger mutants, shielding them with his body. Juggernaut, lovebirds, watch out. A crushing strike slams into him. He doesn't flinch, grinning through the impact. Juggernaut, her, trouble in paradise? Temper and Quentin, Voices joined in fury, snapped back together. Temper and Quentin. Shut up! The walls still smolder with fire and ash. The battlefield reeks of blood and burning metal. A heavy silence hangs until the leader of the X-Men breaks it. Cyclops, voice steady, eyes burning behind the visor. He is right, Idie. I failed you, but you are right as well. That's why I asked you to be part of this team. The ground shakes under the weight of a giant. Behind him, a sentinel still stands, head shattered, flames pouring from its skull. Juggernaut, raising his fists with a grim laugh. Looks like they're out of robots and out of soldiers. Cyclops exhales, the steel of command in his voice. Cyclops, very well, Juggernaut. We need to find our mutants and reunite with... A ragged, gravel voice cuts through the air. From the shadows steps Wolverine, body torn and bleeding, yet unbroken. He leans on Psylocke, who holds him steady with iron resolve. Wolverine, panting but fierce. With your old partner, Logan. Good to see you, Slim. And the rest of your sad little muties. Give me a second. My healing factor is still dragging me back. The air cracks with psychic pressure. Quentin clutches his head, eyes blazing with pink fire. Quentin Quire shouting, "Psychic alert from the executioner! Bombardments incoming!" Cyclops spins, his tone sharp as a blade. Cyclops, local military forces. Find the new mutants, Quentin. Sweat runs down Quentin's face as his mind struggles under the weight. Quentin Quire, voice strained. I'm trying. There are no children here. But if the X gene activates at puberty, the tension thickens. Time is running out, and the war of the X-Men is far from over. The ceiling cracks, stone groans, and a flood of crimson-clad bodies crashes down like an avalanche. Chunks of concrete fly, dust chokes the corridor. The world turns into noise and gravity. Cyclops steps back, battle stance ready, prepared to fire if needed. Magik raises her blade, cold light cutting through the smoke. Quentin opens his mind in the middle of the storm, a psychic beacon scanning everything around. His perception pierces the chaos. Dozens of mental signatures, heavy, hardened, none childlike. They are Orcus troops, trained adults. Quentin Quire, everything my telepathy is picking up are adults. The sun sinks behind the frozen mountains, painting the horizon in fire and ash. In this harsh light, the dialogue between humans and mutants carries the weight of survival. Beast steps forward, introducing with solemn pride. Beast, this is our healer, Mr. Zorn. Paula Robbins extends her hand, steady but cautious. Paula Robbins, a pleasure to meet you. The masked warrior inclines his head, his voice deep and respectful. Zorn, the pleasure is all mine, Officer Robbins. And I must say, you accept my unique appearance better than most. She exhales slowly, hiding her unease. Paula Robbins, I've been practicing lately. Beast, with a reflective tone, almost like a teacher, explains. Beast, I would not want you to think that we, the heteromorphic types, are confined only to this factory. Zorn's gift is to heal, and my true strength was never my mutant abilities, formidable as they may be. Paula tilts her head, curious. Paula Robbins. And the slime boy? Beast answers bluntly, with a touch of dry humor. Beast, Glob? His powers are useless, but we are free to pursue our own interests, while our more martial brothers act in a different, more kinetic direction. The X-Men are not hiding our monsters, no matter what you may think. Then, silence. A presence cuts through the moment like a blade of inevitability. Magneto stands tall, authority radiating from every gesture. Magneto, are you certain of that, Henry? The sky burns in shades of gray and red, as if the very horizon bends before the presence that arrives. From above, seated on his floating throne of metal, Magneto emerges. His gaze cuts through the air with the same weight as his voice. Magneto, but with this, perhaps our greatest monsters, do not seem so different from humans? Silence. The words fall heavy. Officer Paula Robbins stiffens, her hand instinctively moving toward the weapon at her side. Beast steps forward, his voice calm, an anchor against the rising tension. Beast, Hello, Max. Paula, her voice steady, though edged with unease. Paula Robbins, Magneto. Beast raises his hands, diplomatic, his tone carrying reason, while the air hums with Magneto's power. Beast, I was showing the officer our small operation. Magneto tilts his head, the shadows of his helmet casting a harsh authority. Magneto, she is reaching for her weapon. Why do you think that is? The tension tightens. The wind itself seems to press down on them. Beast meets Magneto's stare directly, every word chosen with care. Beast, because you are frightening her, Max, exactly as you intended. If I did not know better, I would say provocation itself was your mutant gift. The air grows heavy, each word ringing like iron striking iron, a conversation balanced on the edge of becoming battle. The wind cuts across the mountains sharp as invisible blades. Above them all, Magneto's throne floats, casting a vast, unshakable shadow. His voice breaks the silence, deep and commanding. Magneto, am I so frightening, Henry? The Beast lifts his gaze, answering with raw honesty. Beast, as someone who spent most of his adolescence worried about the possibility of you murdering me, yes. Magneto allows himself a cold smile. Magneto, and look at what a brilliant creature you've become. What all of you have become. He clenches his fist, the sound of metal groaning like thunder. His words now echo like history forged in iron. Magneto, it was the fear you all felt for me that made Scott a leader. That made Jean Grey strong enough to wield cosmic power. That gave Warren the strength to survive Apocalypse. That gave Robert the force to uncover his Omega potential. Charles gave you steel, but I tempered it. I know metal, Hank, and I know courage. I was what you needed me to be. Paula Robbins, caught in the storm of his presence, dares to speak. Paula Robbins, and what do they need you to be now? Magneto raises his head, eyes blazing with fire beneath the helmet. Magneto, now? Now I am the dragon. His throne lowers slightly, his voice shaking the air like distant thunder. Magneto, Henry has a gentle touch. He always has. He makes you tea, shows you Herman's gardens. Zorn's healing, he puts you at ease. He wants you to go and tell all the other humans that we are friendly, that they have nothing to fear. Magneto's hands tighten, his voice sharp as a blade. Magneto, I am here, so you can tell my version. I am Magneto. I was never friendly, and I am feared. These are my children of the atom, and they will prosper here. The wind howls around them, carrying the weight of his final words, like a prophecy carved into stone. The corridor erupts in chaos. Psychic energy vibrates in the air, distorting walls and minds. Cyclops steps forward, his eyes blazing, voice firm and commanding. Cyclops, psychics, what are we looking at? Psylocke appears, blade in hand, cutting the air with determination. Psylocke, mathematical psychic signatures from Cerebro. They are mutants. They are the ones we came to find. Wolverine narrows his eyes, disbelief burning. He growls between his teeth. Wolverine, impossible. 6X genes triggered at once. In adults, he lunges forward with a brutal move. Logan drives his claws into the opponent's chest, but the blades only tear through the clothes, ripping fabric. The mutant remains unfazed, staring at him with cold defiance. Mutant, too slow, old man. Across the battlefield, Quentin Quire presses his temples, eyes in trance, his voice breaking under the weight of strain. Quentin, scanning, what? They are not Frankenstein's work. They are real mutants. He gasps, a voice cracking with pain. Quentin, wait. Someone is frying my thoughts. Juggernaut charges, his colossal fist crashing forward like an avalanche. The strike lands with devastating force, but it only glances off. The enemy stands firm, unshaken, like living stone. Juggernaut, who activates. Already as an adult, the mutant faces the Juggernaut without fear, his voice dripping with challenge. Mutant, we activate. Ixman. The game has changed. The corridor erupts in chaos. Juggernaut's furious punch passes straight through the enemy's body, as if it were made of solid mist, intangible, unstoppable. In an instant, the Crimson Mutant is already behind him, releasing a brutal discharge of energy straight into Magik's back. The impact slams into Ileana. She crashes to the ground, gasping, clutching her sword as her only point of balance. Magik, between ragged breaths, forces out her voice. Magik. Then where are we to save them? Cyclops pushes forward through the turmoil, his visor blazing like a beacon. His voice cuts through the noise, filled with authority and hope. Cyclops, listen to me. You know who I am. You know who we are. If you six are mutants, then we have more reason to be friends than enemies. We do not need to fight. The slime-covered mutant turns toward him, his voice dripping with irony. Mutant. Oh, I don't know. I think maybe we do. Before the tension can break, another mutant raises his hand and unleashes a scorching blast of energy straight at Temper. The wave tears through the air with violent force, driving her back as she lifts her arms in desperate defense. Her voice trembles through the shock of the blast. Temper. I don't think they're listening. Cyclops. And then, through the haze of dust and pain, Magik raises her face. Her eyes blaze with a dark truth. Her words fall like a blade upon them all. Magik. Too late. You wretches. The scene erupts with fury. Magik leaps forward, the soul's word blazing like condensed thunder, and with a single strike, she severs the enemy's hand clean from his body. Magik. My patience is over. The scream of her foe vanishes in the blinding flash, sparks and raw energy scattering across the battlefield. Far away, in the hidden halls of the 3K Council, shadows stretch across the chamber. Cassandra Nova speaks with cold precision, her words echoing as the battle unfolds on their monitors. Cassandra Nova, this fourth school was a paper tiger, but we were fortunate with the genetic material they had to offer. Look at them, dear six viable. Other member, HM. Can they finish the X-Men, Mother? Cassandra Nova, the 3K hasn't seen such success since we began this excellent work. Back on the field, Temper thrusts her hand forward. Flames roar, searing the enemy in front of her until his armor glows red-hot. Temper, if you don't calm down, I'll boil you alive. Mutant. Whoa. Narrator box. No. Narrator box. They were all spies and terrorists, but their powers are very recent. With lethal grace, Psylocke charges. Her psychic katana pierces through her opponent's skull, burning his mind from within like a blazing brand. Narrator box. The X-Men are already turning the tide against them. And then comes brute force incarnate. Juggernaut slams his fist into another enemy. The sheer impact launches the foe backward, smashing him into the walls like rubble collapsing. Narrator box. But since the fourth school refused our payment, Wolverine, I am inclined to reclaim the products of all our hard work. The clash of powers erupts like thunder in the corridor. The air tears apart in a deafening roar as the wave of energy sweeps through the enemies. Their bodies cannot withstand it, first twisting, then crystallizing into brittle shells until they shatter into fragments and dissolve into the void. The lingering purple haze is all that remains of their existence. Narrator, let's see what we can do with these mutants. Amid the chaos, Cyclops steps forward, his voice steady, his visor burning like embers, casting light over strategy. Cyclops, all right, we need to get out of here before the bombs go off. Ileana, it's on you. The team gathers into formation, each one breathless, still shaken by the shock of the attack. And Magik's blade glows, ready to carve the path to salvation or a plunge deeper into the abyss. The night wraps around the scene. The factory looms in the background, silent, a dark witness to the war. But from the skull-shaped ship, two warriors step into the frozen air, carrying not just scars on their bodies, but on their souls. Wolverine. And for what? Cyclops. For what? For us, Logan. For our people. Wolverine. Slim. Wolverine lowers his gaze for a moment, then lifts his eyes with a hardened look. Wolverine, don't you ever get tired of losing the game of civilization? Because after Krakoa, after the world turned on us all over again, I'm tired. I can't do this anymore. I can't build it all from the beginning. Again. Cyclops, you can't. Wolverine doesn't quit. Wolverine, I'm not quitting. Or maybe I am. Maybe I'm just quitting the parts that don't work. Wolverine walks forward, each step echoing in the snow, leaving the ship and the factory behind. Wolverine, maybe I never should have left the forest. That life, I understand. He stops. His voice drops, a final blade of farewell. Wolverine, don't come looking for me again. Slim. The wind cuts through the silence. Cyclops remains at the ship's hatch, the factory shadow at his back. Logan keeps walking, alone, always alone. The group remains outside, under the shadow of the factory. Logan is gone. His absence weighs heavy, like an open wound in the night. Beast gazing into the horizon. Where do you think Logan is going? Cyclops, firm, unwavering. My best guess? The border between the United States and Canada. Beast quiet, resigned. Well, the silence is broken by Magneto. His voice echoes deep, filled with suspicion. Magneto, the young mutants? Cyclops turning his tone steady. A mystery. They are new, but they are not young. Magneto, eyes narrowing, cold. I do not understand. Cyclops turns to Hank, handing him a strange object, pulsing with unstable energy. Cyclops, urgent, commanding. Here, Hank. This belonged to someone who seemed to carry a black hole as a pet. He presses the thought, voice heavy with tension. Cyclops, take a look, and tell me how 6 adult agents from Orcus 4th School manifested Active X genes at the very same time. Beast almost fumbles the object, startled. Beast, whoa! Suddenly, the moment is cut by the mocking tone of Quentin Quire, strutting in with insolence. Quentin Quire, smirking, arms wide. Hey, how's it going, Professor M? The focus shifts to Magneto. He leans forward, eyes sharp as blades, and his voice drops into a deadly whisper. Magneto, low, icy, deliberate. Tell me that he will die on a mission. The moon gleams above the compound, cold and distant. Cyclops and Beast stand watch, 2 figures burdened with the weight of their people. Beast, calm, reflective. The police officer came by today. Cyclops, teeth clenched, frustration in his voice. Damn it, I was hoping to be here when she arrived, but maybe it was better that you showed her the place. How was it? Beast shrugs slightly with quiet pride. I did an extraordinary job making her feel at ease, and then Max showed up and did what he does. Cyclops, frowning, voice steady. Chim. And how did you handle that? Beast serious and sincere. I did my best. Overall, I think she left more inclined to favor us. Cyclops presses his lips, his gaze locked on the horizon. His tone shifts to that of a commander measuring every risk. Cyclops, firm, resolute. Good. We're going to need her. We're vulnerable here, until we normalize relations with the city. Beast turning to him, voice heavy. Speaking of the city, I'm ready to start dismantling that thing. If you'll lend me Kane, Ileana, and Quentin. Cyclops raises the can of beer, the moonlight glinting against the cold metal. He takes a slow sip, letting silence weigh heavy in the air. His answer cuts through like steel, cold and absolute. Cyclops' sharp tone, without hesitation. No, not yet. The camera rises through the frozen village, cutting across the white mantle of snow, and there it stands. A colossus of iron, motionless. Not an active sentinel, but a deactivated machine. Frozen in time, deteriorated, corroded by decades. A carcass of steel, towering even in ruin. A monument of metal and ice, reminding all of what once was and what could one day return. Narrator's voice, deep, slow, cutting like ice. I want to make sure that they will never forget what they owe us. The 3K are gathered around the table marked by the X, each figure cloaked in darkness, only the faint green glow outlining their forms. Cassandra Nova, the devotee, firm and relentless voice. What did I say? The 4th School is a waste of time and resources. The great work will never be achieved with allies like those. Astra, the doctor, cold and calculating voice. Politically, militarily, I agree completely, but we secured 6 viable subjects from the disciplines they offered. Call it luck if you want. But the 3K have benefited from our connection to the fourth school, which means the great work has been advanced. The resource, the means, deep and shadowed voice. The great work is not benefiting from interference. These X-Men must be dealt with sooner or later. A silence spreads across the chamber, heavy as iron. The director, the chairman, resounding and prophetic voice. Patience. We are building a masterpiece, preparing a crucible from which a completely new world will be born. A great work will never be swift. And finally, the last words fall alone, cutting through the silence. The director, the chairman, and our work is truly magnificent. The wind of battle fades. The shadows of the 3K conspiracy echo like a promise of greater wars to come. The X-Men have fought, bled, and survived, but the real war has only just begun. And so ends the first issue of X-Men 2024 From the Ashes. But brace yourself, because in the next issue secrets will be revealed, alliances tested, and the fate of mutantkind will never be the same. If you made it this far, you know what to do. Drop your explosive like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next epic chapter. And tell us in the comments, what was the most powerful moment of this first issue? We'll meet again in the second part of X-Men From the Ashes, because the story has only just begun.